Burkina Faso, a small country in the heart of West Africa, but with a story far greater than its size. For centuries, its people have lived under the weight of exploitation, foreign control, and unending struggle. And then, a name began to rise, a name that, in just a few months, would become a rallying cry across Africa. That name was Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré was not born into wealth, nor into political power. He came from the earth. The same earth that produces gold, the same earth that feeds the people, but whose treasures have always been taken by others. From a young age, one question burned in his mind. Why? Why was Africa, with all its wealth and resources, still poor? Why did countries like Burkina Faso, rich in gold, uranium, and fertile land, still bow before the IMF, the World Bank, and the old colonial master, France? As a young military officer, his life was simple, but his thoughts were not deep. Inside, he refused to accept the idea that Africa's destiny was to serve others forever. To understand his fight, we must go back in time. Burkina Faso was once called Upper Volta, a part of France's vast colonial empire. In 1960, it gained independence, but this was independence in name only. France kept control through the CFA franc, a currency tied to the French treasury. It dictated trade, military training, and even politics in the country. This system, called franc-fric, was an invisible chain that decided Africa's future, and any leader who tried to break it often paid with their life. By late 2022, Burkina Faso was in chaos. Terrorist groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIS roamed the countryside. Villages were burned, thousands displaced. The government was weak. The people were losing hope. And then, a 34-year-old army captain stepped forward. In a swift military move, Captain Ibrahim Traoré removed the sitting government. He accused them of failing the people, of kneeling before foreign powers. The coup shocked the world. Western media called it a dangerous move. But the winds of change had begun to sweep across Burkina Faso. But change is never welcomed by those who profit from the old ways. Ibrahim Traoré's bold moves had inspired millions. Yet they had also awakened the silent machinery of resistance from powerful global forces. The young captain was stepping into dangerous territory, and everyone knew it. After ordering the French military to leave, the retaliation came quietly at first. Certain aid packages were suspended for review. Loans that were once easily approved by international banks were suddenly delayed or denied. Foreign companies operating in Burkina Faso began filing concerns through diplomatic channels. It was a calculated squeeze, an attempt to force Traoré to bend without firing a single shot. But bending was not in his nature. Instead of backing down, he doubled his efforts. He pushed forward with economic reforms that shocked many in the international community. Mining contracts that had been signed decades earlier, deals that gave away gold, copper, and other resources for a fraction of their value were put under investigation. In some cases, those contracts were canceled outright. Foreign corporations were told they could stay, but only if they agreed to pay fair taxes and respect the sovereignty of Burkina Faso. This angered many powerful boardrooms far away from Africa. For decades, Burkina Faso had been an easy target, its leaders willing to sign away their nation's resources in exchange for political survival. Now, for the first time, those boardrooms were being told no. As the pressure grew, so did the danger. Whispers began to circulate about plans to remove Traoré one way or another. Security sources warned him of accidents being planned, of people infiltrating his inner circle. He had seen this story before, the story of Thomas Sankara. Sankara had been betrayed by those closest to him. Traoré was determined not to make the same mistake. His speeches became even more fiery. In one televised address, he looked straight into the camera and said, "If I am killed for defending Africa, then let my death be the seed of freedom for millions." The crowd in the capital erupted in cheers, but behind those cheers was a shared fear. Would the young leader survive long enough to see his vision become reality? Meanwhile, the battle for Burkina Faso security